Hey, how's everyone doing? Hopefully you're doing all right. It is Saturday night. Anyway, I seen this and I thought it was actually, oh boy. Never bring a knife to a gunfight. Little soon, maybe a little soon. Makia Bryant. So I'm sure most of you might have seen this. I don't know how much you've seen, but um, you know, she brought a knife out the house. I think is probably what happened because there was a group of girls who showed up to beat her up or something, right? So she showed up, brought out with the knife, right, and she got shot. So she was about to stab some girl even after the cop had showed up. I don't know if she was full of adrenaline and didn't see him. I watched the footage from a couple different angles. I know under adrenaline you kind of get tunnel vision sometimes, especially when you're fighting, so it's possible that she didn't even notice him pull up and she was just ready to get down. It's really sad, actually. Now, in a way, she's defending herself, but in another way, if she was at her house, she should have just waited inside and called the cops and waited for them instead of running outside with a big ass butcher knife trying to, like, chop these girls up, right? It wasn't. I mean, I've been in spots where I've had to defend myself outside of my house, and I mean, after the initial shit goes down, I just go castle in and I get into the law involved because I'm not young and stupid anymore. And I know that there is a big overarching law, and sometimes people will just go and drop it on you first, and then you have to defend yourself because they're the one making the claim first. So I make the claim first, and that usually makes them bugger off, kind of thing. They won't fuck around after that. And I don't press charges. I just like whatever. Let's fucking deal with these guys. But anyway, that's kind of sad though. I wouldn't want to be in a situation where I was defending myself and then I got shot down by the cops, right? So these girls come to beat her up. She whips out a knife. Shit gets crazy. They're all just being maniacs. I've seen, like there's a couple angles of the footage, so they're being maniacs, and this is what happened. So are all those girls that came to beat her up gonna have a good fucking think about what they were fucking doing? I think that that's probably one of the bigger lessons that hopefully the people involved in this at least can figure out. Because I hope that this shines some light on another thing that I've seen way too fucking much of. So I like watching the Garbage Human on the Offensive videos, and I like watching Hypocrites collaborative videos too. I can't remember what they're called. It doesn't matter. But he hasn't done any for a while, so I haven't watched him in a while. But you get these collaboro videos of stuff that's all happened over the last week. And I can't count how many episodes I've seen since last year, with one a week coming out roughly, that don't have a big gas ghetto fight going on where there's a whole bunch of black girls just beating the shit out of each other, sometimes in a mall, sometimes in a parking lot, sometimes just on the street. It's out of hand. I don't think that you'd have an easy time finding a lot of white girls going at each other at the same rate that black girls go at each other. And we could also take and add in the whole 13% versus 60 or whatever Caucasians. You don't see Caucasians, even though in that much bigger of a number, fucking just beating the shit out of each other over whatever all the time like that. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I mean, I've seen, being where I live, of course, I've seen lots of white girls fighting and going crazy. But, at any rate, the point is, I hope that it shines some light and doesn't get too overshadowed by all the bullshit media with this story, where at first they weren't even talking about the knife because they just want to frame it one way. Fucking white cop shoots black, now teenager, right? They've made sure that that was critically important to you. Shoots black teenager. But they couldn't say unarmed, now could they? No, they couldn't. They could just lie by omission and not tell everyone that she had a knife at first. So that was the way some of the media was at first. That's the way CBC was portraying it at first. And I was watching it just to see what they would fucking do with it. It was terrible. But yeah, that's about the biggest thing that you can hope for, is that maybe some of the violence within the so-called black community starts getting addressed a little bit more. That none of this shit would have happened if a group of girls wasn't showing up to beat this girl up. I mean, I suppose props in a way. She got a heart on her to grab a knife and go try fighting a whole bunch of people. It's crazy. I mean, I wouldn't do it, but, you know, whatever. I guess you get what you get. So, like I say, hopefully it's an eye-opening experience for everybody, but to be honest, at the same time, I know that it's not really going to be. Some people might pick it up, but a lot of people aren't going to be affected by this that way. They weren't there when it happened. They've already taken it another way, and they're running with that to continue on with their narrative. And I don't know what the end goal is. No police left in the world and reparations for life, so that people who never owned slaves and probably never wanted slaves here in the first place can pay for it. Like, I don't, that doesn't make any sense to me. That's just the elites passing the buck on to everybody once again. I kind of look at the whole framing of whiteness and white people being so bad and evil and white men being racist colonizers that just doesn't stop in the media either. As being another way that they're just sort of passing the buck on to people who didn't really do fucking anything other than show up here to try to make a better life for themselves too, right? And I tell you for real, I bet they didn't want any fucking any slaves coming here. Like, you could have had a job working for Massa and he would have had to pay you, and instead of having that go on, you had all these plantations all over the place being run by labor that wasn't yours anymore. You couldn't go and work for the dude if you wanted to go make some silver for the day. This wasn't happening now, right? I was kind of thinking about that in regards to the way things are right now too, that our ancestors, no, I shouldn't say ancestors, somewhat ancestors, but people, let's just say people living in Canada, all stripes of people, including the natives, they didn't really like the idea of Canada being hammered on with, like, groups of immigrants from various different countries. And of course it got looked at as a racial thing, and in some cases, most certainly was, but you look at the problem that we're at now, where we've got all this racial tension. I just seen an article not too long ago of an Asian dude who beat up an Asian chick, but his deal was he thought it was a white chick, so he was just going to go beat her up because, this whole game that they keep playing has got, motherfuckers incensed and they're all ready to beat on each other. I kind of look at, they're not talking about this much either. If you look into it, it's true, so fuck them, I'll say what I want because it's true, but there's a lot of attacks from African Americans attacking Asians. A lot. And I mean, they try to show you the odd white one. Well, there's lots of blacks and attacking them. And I think it's kind of a psychological thing. It's like, if you've only got, say, two kids that are sort of fighting for supremacy in the family, older brother, little brother kind of thing, the little brother's always going to get beat on until he gets bigger and better or whatever. But let's say a third brother comes along and now the second brother has someone that fucking beat on. So I think that that's kind of similar to the psychology where this victimhood and pain and whatever else gets passed down. And I think it's kind of similar to like the whole Israel thing too, where you're made victims in Germany and then you go to Palestine and make victims of Palestinians, right? So it's like this circle of pain, but although some of the videos I'm bringing along and trying to show people, I'm hopefully trying to pill people into figuring out that, it's one big system and it's not so ethnocentric as you might think. I think there's a lot of people involved with this whole world theater operation, right? Like Bill Cooper calls it the mystery religion. Other people do too, but that's what he likes to call it a lot. And he says it's not the Jews, it's not fucking the Roman Catholics or whatever else specifically, but there's like elements of all of them in on all of this. And they have been crafting the way the world runs and flows for a super long time now. I can hear my cats running around, they're fucking playing and fighting, it's pretty funny. But anyway, so yeah, I guess I kind of went into a little of a ramble mode here, but it's getting pretty damn tiring seeing all this stuff, and I think that, I don't know if it's going to turn into a place where everyone's going to get demoralized eventually and just sort of accept what comes, or if people are actually going to get right revved up and start going at each other eventually. I mean, the shit doesn't stop, you know, and I said that back in like August. It's kind of around the time I quit even bothering to cover this kind of stuff because it's all over the place anyway, and all I said was that it's not going to fucking stop now. It's being manipulated, it's being fomented. And so, you know, this is what we're at. They're fucking rigging a race war. And like I say, even Asians are starting to fucking fight and get angry and choked and getting violent now too. So, yeah, it's no good. This the whole mystery Babylon or whatever you want to call it or whatever too is kind of getting on its weak knees, you know. It's like anytime they've tried this multinational living in one nation experiment, it never goes well. And look at it again. So does it never go well because the powers that be don't let it? Or does it not go well because it's just not really going to go that good anyway in the long run? I don't know. It's hard to say when you can see it clearly being sort of manipulated right now anyway. But I don't know. Like I say, and because of that, it's just going to keep rolling anyhow. So whatever. But, you know, I'm pretty chill. I live in a place that's chill. I was thinking to, whatever, I'm going to take people out and show my garden off. And some of you folks that listen to this, you might be in an area where you can already start putting one in right now. We have to wait because we still have potential snow and frost until the traditional May long weekend here, which is Queen Victoria's birthday. So I won't put anything in till around the third week of May myself. But if you've already got the possibility, but you don't have the space, you know, you should think about going and like talking to farmers or people with acreages even or whatever outside of town. Throw up like a Kijiji or some kind of a want ad, or go to like a farming page or like a farmer's market page or something like that on Facebook in your area, and see if you can find somebody who's got just a big chunk of extra land and go plant a bunch of food this year. You won't regret it. Go get some seed potatoes and whatever, some carrots, whatever you want, man. You know? People are going to have to start doing that kind of stuff more and figuring that out more, because not just the possibility of something savage and tyrannical happening or natural disaster, but the cost on everything is going to start going up. Like here in Canada, we ate 2 carbon taxes already. I don't know what the States is doing in every state for that kind of stuff, but cost is going to go up because of inflation also that we've been put under because of all the money borrowed for COVID. So, you know, you'll do yourself a big favor by growing yourself some good organic food. It feels good to do it too. You want to know what freedom feels like? Go put them seeds in the ground and then months later go dig them up and be like, damn, look at all this food that I made. You know, you didn't really do it all, but it's an amazing feeling. It feels super good. That's like what real wealth kind of feels like, you know? It's like if you were the only one with food and someone else had gold and silver, that gold and silver is going to be yours now if you so desire. But I mean, it's because it's wealth, right? Food is wealth, right? So yeah. Anyway, I'm rambling. Anyway, I'll get out of your hair here and stop. I don't want to take too much time up, but so anyway, I hope people are liking some of those slick vids that I've got pumping out lately too on F-Masonry and communism, and of course, you know, some of the instigators behind it. But I believe that's all kind of like what Billy Cooper says too. It's like mystery religion style stuff. Like when you really follow the trails, you know that Prescott Bush, Henry Ford, the Rockefeller Foundation, all that stuff supported the eugenics programs in Frankfurt School in Germany when they moved it there. And of course the Nazis took that up, right? And those motherfuckers were all funded by the Rothschilds. So Rothschilds funded them, started the Nazi side of the war, and then he also funded the Soviet side for like 60 years before that, right? So I mean, that's the picture I'm trying to paint for everyone that I think is the truest shit. Once we get this worked out, I will fucking go on a fucking boat with you and we will go see if we can find the edge of the earth. But until we get this other shit that's more important out, we can't worry about floating discs or floating orbs. It doesn't really fucking matter, you know what I'm saying? That's the psyop end of it. It doesn't have any fruit to it by the end. There's no fruit there. There's nothing to bear. And it won't save you from the real problem, which is usury banking and non-stop wars being fomented by, you know, media, which has been a thing for a super long time, right? So there you go, Hot Take Saturday. Maybe I'll put another video up today or tomorrow, something small or whatever. I don't, like I said lots of times, and I'll just keep on saying this. I don't want to fucking overwhelm anybody with some of the material that I find. If you've seen it before, great. If you haven't, I just don't want to give you tons of stuff because I know that people have lots of other things they like to watch and do. And if I give you 3 2-hour long things, your odds are you're going to go, oh, fuck. And you won't see it all. And I want everybody to genuinely see this stuff. I'm not an expert, but I genuinely believe a lot of the stuff that I'm trying to show is like fucking down to earth. It's the real shit that's going on, hidden in plain sight, you know, not just like entertainment doing symbolism, but like the Trilateral Commission, foreign trade relation, all that kind of stuff is places where the occult likes to hide to and do its business, right? Globalism has to be a thing if you're going to have a one world government, right? You have to have control of everything, so that's how she is. But yeah, so anyway, that's good enough. You guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. Hopefully this stuff starts to fucking get people thinking right as this goes down. It's a sad thing that she got shot down like that. It actually kind of is. But, so anyway. I was inspired to say something more meaningful at the prompt of a bad joke that came along a little bit too early. Or a good joke, I guess it depends on your taste. But anyway, peace out. Alright.